Hello and welcome to the iRacing Fantasy Cup Series playoff race from Kansas, presented by Alpha Ornamental Metals. This is the last race in the round of 12. Drivers trying to lock their way into the round of 8. We'll go through the points here in just a moment, but we want to give you a sneak peek of the action that you are going to see here tonight. So we'll be right back to go through our points and get ready for tonight's broadcast.
The sun beat down, I had the radio on, I was driving, trees flew by, me and Del were singing, it'll run away, yeah, I was flying, yeah, running down a dream, that never would come to me, working on a mystery, going wherever it leads. Running down a dream. Yeah, running down a dream that never would come to me. Running down a dream.
All right, and we are here at the racetrack. This is the iRacing Fantasy Cup Series Kansas 134, presented by Alpha Ornamental Metals. We solve your ornamental metal needs, including steel, aluminum, and iron. Also home of the Streamline railing. Check those guys out at facebook.com/Alpha Ornamental Metals, located in Chesterfield, Virginia. See if they can get you what you need for your ornamental metal needs. But on the racetrack here, let's see what our standings are coming into tonight's race. As we enter into the final race of the round of 12, we're going to have 8 move on here tonight. And drivers had to face Talladega last week, and it was a mixed bag for a lot of these playoff contenders, as Chad Ginningsman actually stole the victory away from any of them, so no one could lock their way in with a victory. But Jonathan Hernandez was out early, didn't get the finish that he wanted, and quite a few others actually ended up with not so great finishes, and others finishing well to pretty much solidify their points situation. Right now, Jacob Shorba and above are basically all locked in, barring extreme circumstances. But Chris Etcheper, Brian Pizzakemi, Eric Wineland, all on that bubble, really very close to the cut line, where Ryan Strunk, Curtis Valenzuela, and Christopher White are all right there as well. Justin Boyles has been eliminated from the playoffs after actions detrimental to the league last week. So he will not be here tonight contending, but really those 3 above him and the 3 above the cut line, the ones to keep an eye on. And right now, Eric Wineland, who's 2 points above the cut line, he's currently sitting as your current pole sitter, and great lap time there for him. So Eric Wineland's just 7 1,000ths faster than Taylor Butcher Benjamin, and trying to get a good starting spot here, and needs to get a lot of playoff points and stage points to hang on to that final position. And could be a surprise winner here tonight. You never know. Kansas is a very interesting speedway, and let's see if we've got anybody out on track that we could follow along with. Looks like Daniel Hallis just completing his lap. He actually comes to a stop here. Looks like Brandon Andrews, that 42 machine, going to be rolling off here. And Brandon in the playoff picture, he is second coming into tonight's race, well above the cut line, so no real worries for Brandon. He just needs to essentially finish tonight and hopefully get a few points on the way. But he's out here trying to make his first lap. I don't think he's going to have time, but it'll be very, very close as he tags the wall there in 3 and 4. And we will see that high groove really working here as the track temp now up to 83 degrees Fahrenheit, air temp 72 degrees. I think it will be pretty interesting to see how these guys use the different grooves. The low line really not the preferred way around this racetrack. And yes, sir, we got Benny on the radio here in the chat cheering on Jordan Brockle, who, of course, has that great Pat and Benny show. And here comes Brandon Andrews. Let's see, did he get the lap in? It does not count. Oh, it did count, so he is going to be starting in the 5th position. But let's go to our starting grid here tonight. These guys make their way onto the racetrack to get ready. Eric Wineland going to be your pole sitter, so right there on that cut line. Going to be interesting to see how Eric can do. He's been strong in previous weeks, just hasn't had quite the finishes. But he is still here in contention to advance to the round of 8. Taylor Butcher Benjamin will be rolling off on the outside of the front row, so great lap from the 11 as well. In row number 2, Chad Ginningsman, last week's winner at Talladega, that full-length race. He came out on top after recovering from a couple laps down and right up there with his Penske teammate. Going to be starting on the inside of the front row. Daniel Hallis rolling off in the 4th position right next to him. Brandon Andrews captures the 5th position there. Christopher White, another playoff contender, going to be rolling off in the 6th spot. Nicholas Starling here in the 7th position. Jordan Brockle starting in 8th. In 9th, it's Chris Echeverria, playoff driver, and John Jones rounds out the top 10. Mark Brannigan going to be rolling off in 11th. Justin Carey is going to be starting in the 12th position. He comes in 3rd in the playoff standings. Alex Pelican comes in 4th in the playoff standings. He's rolling off 13th here. Dusty Applin starting in 14th position. Spencer Tart going to be rolling off in the 15th spot here. And Barry Stevens rolling off in 16th. In 17th, it's Chris James, who had a nice strong run in the Nationals last night. Dakota Jorgensen going to be rolling off in the 18th position. Jacob Shorba, who comes in 5th in the playoff standings, rolling off 19th. And Brian Pizzakemi, who is 7th in the playoffs, going to be rounding out the top 20. Alex Link starting in 21st. Ryan Strunk in the playoffs, actually, yeah, just inside the playoffs in the 9th position. He is rolling off in 22nd. Tim Williams rolling off 23rd. Curtis Valenzuela starting 24th. Chris Hansen going to be starting in 25th. Frank Weinset 26th. James Love 27th. Alan Hunt 28th. And that is going to do it for the field here tonight. 28 drivers. And Eric Wineland going to be leading them here to the green flag. So it's going to be the 11 and the 12 on that front row. And we'll see how these guys do here on this initial start. And I'm going to get word on the stage breaks here tonight. It looks like stage breaks tonight. Lap 34, lap 68, and the end of the race on lap 134. So going to be a good one here, and these guys are about to get going, so cheer on your favorite driver in chat, and let's see the names pop up here, and we want to see who you're cheering for so we can follow along throughout the race. And who do you think is going to win here? We have chant for Jordan there in the chat, but we are underway now at Kansas, race number 6 of the playoffs, the cutoff race for round 2 underway. And we are rolling here. Got our ticker up now so you can follow along with your favorite driver. Eric Wineland out in front. He's got his Penske teammate right there, Chad Ginningsman, right behind him. Ginningsman, not a regular contender here in the Cup Series, but he did steal a win away from these guys last week in a serious race of attrition. But the battle is on at the front here as they start getting into a couple lines. Brandon Andrews now looks to the middle. They're going to go 3 wide here for second place. The 12 of Wineland out in front, but now the 42 charging through the middle. He's going to try and make this move work. And we saw Brandon Andrews with a very strong run at Michigan where he ultimately came out on top, and very similar style of racing there as to what we're going to see here tonight. More of a pack style, but don't count out anybody here, as we do have about a 10-car pack at the front, and then right behind them, Jordan Brockle racing alongside Spencer Tart and Dusty Applin. And those drivers all just outside the top 10, but really getting things going here. The 32 of Christopher White rolling that outside line, and he had a great race going at Talladega. And thank you, Sticker Swag 23. You are the 200th follower of VSPEED, and that is an awesome thing. Thank you so much for tuning in here and helping us reach that goal, as we're 3 wide, the 52 in the middle, but he backs out of it. It's going to tuck down in that low line. Oh, they hit the apron, the 41 into the back of Brannigan, and that's going to give the 41 of Chris Etcheper significant damage on the nose of that race car. Let's go back here. The 52 just went into the corner behind the 15, and they went down in on the apron, which is not really how you want to approach the corners here. And the 41 just not a whole lot of room to work with as they drifted up the racetrack. So now Brannigan, Etcheper, 12th and 13th, but both with damage as they are shuffling out for the lead here. Eric Wineland still hanging on to it, but Daniel Hallis charging up behind. That 53 car's been so good. He's going to go below the line on the backstretch and try and get down there, but thinks better of it, and he'll stay in line with Wineland as Brandon Andrews now working out by that wall, trying to get a third lane moving. Ginnigsman now stuck in the middle next to Taylor Butcher Benjamin. But they get it back down to 2 wide here. The 42 pulling along Spencer Tart down on the inside, but Nicholas Starling right there behind him, along with Christopher White rolling up high, and they're going to run up right behind Chad Ginnigsman, who kind of throws the block, or at least trying to hang on there. But Daniel Hallis able to slip on past Eric Wineland along with Taylor Butcher Benjamin. They clear the 12 completely and put Daniel Hallis on the top. But this is the overhead view here. Pretty crazy looking, and Brannigan trying to make a move 3 wide here. He's going to go between Starling and the 27 of Dusty Applin, and they nearly made contact out of turn 2. But able to keep things moving here. 52 already with damage. Oh, he goes 3 wide again between those same drivers. They're going to head down into turn 1, 3 wide here as the 27 comes up onto the banking. And Starling up into the wall there. He really dove it in, I think trying to stay off the 52, but he slammed that outside barrier. And he is dropping like a rock here. There goes Jordan Brockle right on past, put Starling back to 12. Here comes Barry Stevens filling in that 20 car. And he's going to try and clear Starling down the front straightaway, but they continue to make big moves. The 52 of Brannigan especially, he has just swung left and right up and down these straightaways, trying to make passes. Now he's working on the 15 of John Jones, who's down on the low side. They're going to try and chase down Brandon Andrews up here, that 5th position. Meanwhile, Hallis out in front. Ginnigsman has found his way back up here to challenge, and he's pulling along his teammate Eric Wineland. So not too long of stages here. They are running about 30-second laps. Fastest car on the track that time by was Brandon Andrews in the 42, getting a draft off the high line. Big momentum down the back straightaway. Here comes Ginnigsman up on the high side, going to try and get the lead back for Penske Racing, and the 22 not able to get the run through 3 and 4. Hallis really solid on that low line, but how long can he work down there? Meanwhile, back here, Jacob Shorba kind of stuck in the second pack. He's running an all-black iRacing iFlag scheme. I want to shout out to iRacing iFlag for sponsoring the truck series here in the iRacing Fantasy Series. And Jacob is a sponsored driver by them, so representing his sponsor here tonight. And also Jacob runs Shorba's iRacing Paints, another sponsor of this league. So check those guys out over on Facebook. Right now, Jacob, a playoff driver, comes in pretty solidly in points. He's riding in 18th right now, so not pushing the issue. As right there up in front of him, Tim Williams going to the inside of Starling, who continues to drop, now back to 16th. And that 43 car started off strong, but definitely going the wrong direction now as he gets passed up by Justin Carey. Well, they remain side by side, but I think it's inevitable with the way the 43's been dropping that the 21 will clear him here. And it looks like he will, going down into turn 1. But Starling going to try and hang. He is well off the pace in the center of the corner, though, as here comes Jacob Shorba, going to try and make the move on him down the back straightaway. Steps back in line, though, and he'll wait to make that move for a later time. But Chad Ginningsman has pulled Eric Wineland, and those two now back out in front. Meanwhile, Mark Brannigan and Daniel Hallis, I believe teammates as well, working together here to try and get that lead back. And it's a 4-car breakaway back to then Brandon Andrews. It's about a half second, so not really a huge breakaway, but with the way this draft package works, every little bit does help as the run goes on. As we see Daniel Hallis now sneaking down to the inside here in turns 1 and 2. Oh, the 22 into the wall. Ginningsman slowing up that high line. It looks like Hallis, a big, strong run out of the corner. But Ginningsman able to regain his momentum. We'll see if the 53 has anything for him here, and it looks like he will, taking that shorter route. Going to get it, the 53 back out in front. Here comes Eric Wineland now to the inside. Ginningsman going to go way up by that outside wall and just going to let the 12 right past him. But Brannigan right there, he's been aggressive on the opening laps, and he gives a shove to the 12, but going to wash up the track there, and tires already becoming an issue. Oh, as he makes contact with Brandon Andrews, trying to throw a block. That was a little bit messy. Andrews able to continue without hitting the outside wall, but he's going to have left front damage now. And the 8 of Spencer Tart slides up in front of Brannigan, and now they're all making moves here. Contact between the 42 and the 52 as they make it 3 wide now, headed into turn 1. And it's only lap 17. Somebody might want to tell these guys it's not the last lap. We want to appreciate all you guys for tuning in here tonight. Once again, supporting the stream. Now to 200 followers, and caution out on the speedway. And it looks like Jordan Brockle caught up in this one. Let's see what happened to the driver of the Pat and Benny Show number 2 machine. And just taking a look here at Jordan, see what happened. He gets sideways coming out of turn 4, gets it down on that apron, and that banking transition just loops it around here into the grass. Able to avoid contact, but not what Jordan wanted to see here after starting inside the top 10. He is now at the tail end of the lead lap. But Daniel Hallis out in front. That car looks very strong here. He started in 4th. He's led 9 laps out of the 18. And definitely looks to be a contender. But Eric Wineland, your pole sitter, he's been right up here in the mix with a little bit of right front damage now. I think maybe when Ginningsman tagged the wall, the 12 also tagged the wall. But those two Penske machines have been running strong here. Spencer Tart finds himself in the 4th position. Mark Brannigan now up to the 5th spot. But these drivers are going to make their way onto pit road, it looks like. 53 of Hallis going to lead him down here. And Eric Wineland going to almost give him a shot in the bumper there as they get onto the pit lane. But Daniel Hallis keeps him about 2 feet behind. Wineland just waiting to find his pit box here, and we'll see how these guys do and what the strategy is as far as tires. We'll take a look here and see who wins the battle off. And looks like Daniel Howe is going to win the battle. Eric Wineland, possibly winning the battle. Not sure. Looked pretty close. Looks like Wineland does win the battle off. Daniel Howe is in second. Not sure if he got any kind of a speeding penalty. And thank you, the Cowboy 99, for the follow. Thanks for tuning in and supporting VSPEED. But the field now working under their first caution here at Kansas. This is race number 6 of the playoffs and the last in round number 2. So a cutoff race here. And if you didn't see the point standings coming in, this is how they look. One driver locked in, and that is Jonathan Hernandez with his victory at Dover 2 weeks ago. Last week, Chad Ginningsman was a surprise winner, and he is not in the playoffs, so didn't lock up any positions for anyone else here. But Brandon Andrews almost completely locked in, unless we have extreme circumstances. But I don't foresee that happening here as he's running up inside the top 10. And pace car lights are off, so we're going green next time. But drivers to keep your eye on, Eric Wineland, who was your pole sitter, he's right there above the cut line by just 2 points. Just in front of Ryan Strunk. And Strunk not having the best start here. He is currently riding back in the 19th position, so he needs to get some points here and needs to try and leapfrog the number 12 machine. But the 12 car is your leader, and he'll have control of this restart. So the 12 and the 53 on the front row, getting ready to bring the field back around to the green flag, get us underway once again. And Wineland in control. We'll see what he does here with his teammate behind him. They work together. Great jump from the Penske machines. And Chad Ginningsman going to take over second spot at the line here. 53 of Hallis has plenty of room to get down in, and he will drop down in between Ginningsman and Brandon Andrews. And the 42 and the 8 almost making contact there, headed into turn 1. Taylor Butcher Benjamin, your outside pole sitter, right in the mix here as well. We have a Red Bull machine, John Jones, up there. I think somebody called out the Red Bull machine on track here. So, we've got 3 wide now. Brandon Andrews in the middle. We've seen him try and work this, but Eric Wineland hanging on to the lead. Ginningsman got shuffled out to that 3rd row and struggling here to find a place to slot back in, and we are really shuffling things up. 15 of John Jones now into the middle here behind Brandon Andrews. There goes Hallis up to the 2nd line. And these guys once again racing like it's the last lap, but we still have 11 to go in the stage even. The 15 of John Jones washing up just a little bit. Ginningsman able to stay off of him, but shaking and shuffling here down the front straightaway. Daniel Hallis back to the point. That 53 car very strong here in this first stage. Doesn't look like he's had any issues with grip as he rides all the way down on that low line around the entire corner. And now back here, the 52 of Brannigan, who's been very aggressive in these opening laps. He gets down on the apron there, not going to work if you do that. And here comes the 27 of Dusty Applin right behind him. But Brannigan up. And he goes off the banking there, down across the apron into the grass. And he's able to keep it off the wall, down on the apron now. But that's what happens when you don't hold a great line across the start-finish line here. If you go down on that apron, you come back up and kind of ride the 2. It really upsets the race car. He gets turned around by the 27, but does a great job of hanging on to that thing and preventing further damage. But meanwhile, Daniel Hallis out in front. He leads Taylor Butcher Benjamin now by just a car length. The 53 almost hits the wall, and here comes the 11 down to the inside. Brandon Andrews right there in their wake. Here comes Eric Wineland now to the middle. He's going to try and make that move around Taylor Butcher Benjamin, and he's got a very quick race car as the pole sitter, but he's got chaos around him, almost 4 wide there. Here's Spencer Tart now down to the inside, and the 12 with no help. And just losing ground, but the 8 of Spencer Tart trying to find a way around Butcher Benjamin, and he's going to go to the inside. The 11 now to the middle lane. They race side by side, but Spencer Tart losing grip, loses the nose on that race car. He's going to slide up the racetrack, and here comes Wineland back to the inside. Looks like we had some shuffling back here. The 36 of Valenzuela at the center of it. Let's see what happened. Oh, the 96 machine, and we are under caution, actually. So let's see what happened to Mr. Tim Williams. Oh, looks like the 66 or the 34. Alan Hunt, possibly. But let's find out what happened here. And it looks like Alan Hunt racing with the 66 of James Love and the 20 machine up there. They made contact. Alan Hunt back up, and then the 96 of Tim Williams caught up in this. I'm not sure if that's what brought out the caution. Let's keep an eye on this here. And the 3 machine of Alex Pelican down into the corner. The 43 of Starling down there. That must have been what brought out the caution, because I don't see anything else. And Brannigan, that is actually great news for him. He's going to be able to catch up to the tail end of the field here. So that is a big deal for him. He was up in contention and going around there on the front straightaway. Daniel Hallis, looks like he's going to stay out. And we do have a few drivers coming down. Taylor Butcher Benjamin, the first of them. But looks like about the top 8 to 10 cars going to stay out here. And only a handful going to bring it down pit lane, as the stage is going to be wrapping up here pretty soon. We see Chad Ginningsman down on pit road. And the 22, I expect him to get some damage fixes. He's not really running for points at this point in the season, so might as well have a clean race car to go out there and drive as fast as you can. So Butcher Benjamin going to win the battle off, but the top 12 are out here on 10-lap old tires, so have to see how that goes for these guys. Let's see if we can get a word in with Mr. Ryan Strunk here, who comes in just outside the cut line and finds himself right here in the 6th position. And let's see if we can find him here in the radio channels. No, I don't see Ryan in here, so we'll have to find somebody else to talk to. Let's see if we can talk to Eric Wineland, who comes in the bubble driver here. And I believe he is in our chat. Actually, pace car lights are off, so maybe under the next caution we can get a word in with the 12. But it is not going to happen this time. Don't want to distract them from the restart that's coming up here in just a moment. But how is everybody doing out there in the chat? Thank you all for tuning in. If you're enjoying the broadcast so far, we'd appreciate you hitting that follow button if you haven't already, or consider subscribing. It does go a long way to helping us bring you great racing action. You also get access to exclusive emotes, as well as you get to skip the ads that we run every now and then. So you can see more of the sponsors and the other racing action that we have up on our screen. But this is going to be an interesting little run to the end of this stage. Daniel Hallis in the lead, Eric Wineland in second. And I think these are the 2 cars to beat as the 53 gets them going. No tire spin really from anybody here. And we got this lower horsepower package, and makes these restarts a little bit easier on older tires. But Eric Wineland losing touch with the 53. The gap about 5 or 6 car lengths. Brandon Andrews right on his back bumper. Ryan Strunk now moves up to the 4th spot, and he is looking for some stage points. Really needs to bypass the 12 before they get to the end of this stage. But he's right on his bumper now. Going to look to the middle lane and not going to go there just yet. Coming out of turn 4, though, does he make a move? He'll go down to the apron. Oh, almost contact with Wineland. He tucks in right behind Wineland through the block down low, and 77 of Strunk really juking left and right, trying to find a way around him. he stays down in this low line, and this is the battle to watch here as Daniel Hallis out in front by 0.4 of a second, and nobody really contending with him at the moment. Here comes Strunk to the middle. Justin Carey right there as well. So some of your playoff drivers rising to the top. These 4 of the top 5 are playoff contenders, and they're all right here now going 3 wide. 77 of Strunk in the middle. Dangerous position as he goes down into turns 1 and 2. Going to take it 3 wide now. Going to clear the 21 and try and clear the 42 of Brandon Andrews. And he's going to go to the inside of Eric Wineland. Big wiggle down to the apron. He dives it into the corner here. This may work. It may not. The 12 of Wineland having to shift up the track. Here comes John Jones to the outside. And this is the white flag to the end of the stage. And we are 3 or 4 wide here. This is just madness on the front straightaway. The 77 of Strunk trying to hang on to this spot. Here comes Wineland back down low. They're 3 wide going through turn 2. Now on the back straightaway, Strunk a little wiggle there. Seems like that car is not planted how he would like it to be. He's going to try and get a push here from Alex Pelican, the 3 machine who's been so strong in these playoffs. And to win the stage, it's going to be Daniel Hallis, that 53 machine, so fast here in these opening laps. And I think Brandon Andrews just edges out John Jones. We'll have to see where they sit. But Ryan Strunk going to come home in that 4th spot in the stage. Eric Wineland 5th. So 77 gaining a valuable playoff point, or stage point rather, to help him here in these playoffs. And so let's go through our top 10 here at the end of this stage. Daniel Hallis wins stage number 1. So congratulations to him. He will receive 10 bonus points. In second, it was John Jones, just narrowly beating out Brandon Andrews, one of our playoff drivers. And I think that basically all but locks him into the next round. Ryan Strunk coming home in the 4th spot. So huge points for him. Eric Wineland also sticking right there with him, gaining some valuable points. Alex Pelican, playoff driver, also earning points. Justin Carey, playoff driver, earning points. Spencer Tart up here in the mix. He earns some playoff points in 8th. In 9th, it was Taylor Butcher Benjamin. And 10th was Chris Etcheper, who recovered nicely after a little bit of contact earlier. He earns a stage point. And Chris Etcheper comes in 6th in the playoffs, and definitely not safe if things don't go his way, but that bonus point will definitely help him somewhat at least. Taylor Butcher Benjamin elects to stay out here. But we are going to go quickly to a commercial break, and we'll be right back with the green flag. All right, and we are back. Pace car lights are off. The field is side by side. And if you saw that we were running an ad there, you can actually subscribe and skip the ads. But we won't be running too many of those throughout the race. But we want to give a shout out to our sponsor of tonight's event, Alpha Ornamental Metals. We solve your ornamental metal needs, including steel, aluminum, and iron, and also home of the Streamline Railing. Check those guys out at facebook.com/Alpha Ornamental Metals and see if they can help you out. A pace car dives to pit road. It's going to be Taylor Butcher Benjamin and Chad Ginningsman, who both stayed out here under this caution. And they get us going. Taylor Butcher Benjamin, good jump here. The 11 machine leads the field now by 4 car lengths. And the 22 and 15 going to go side by side here for that second spot. John Jones down low. And the 53 of Hallis, who won the stage, looking to get back out to the point here as he goes now to the inside. 15 wiggling in the middle of the track. Hallis down low, they're 3 wide into turn number 3. Ginningsman up high on older tires, and he's going to drop here, I think, losing a little bit of ground. But Taylor Butcher Benjamin leads that lap, but how long can he stay out front? Here comes Daniel Hallis. That 53 is so strong here tonight, as he has been for quite a few races, but just has not been able to close the deal. But tonight his car looks like the one to beat, along with the 12 of Eric Wineland. But Wineland back in the 26th position. That 12 car must have gotten a speeding penalty. He sat on pit road for 54 seconds. And he is all the way back here in 26th. So not sure what happened, but now the battle is on. Daniel Hallis back to the point. And Taylor Butcher Benjamin now has to submit to the 53, and he's going to jump out to the high line and see if he can get some help from Chad Ginningsman back there, his fellow driver who stayed out on the last caution there. Here comes Nicholas Starling. Great recovery as he had some early troubles. Now back up inside the top 5, battling with these guys. Spencer Tart now going to go to that high line right next to Ryan Strunk, and Strunk, who was running mid-pack there for a good portion of that first stage. He is now up here challenging for the front positions. And we have some bobbling going on back here. The 27 has big nose damage. That must have been from when he made contact a bit earlier with Mark Brannigan. And Brannigan up to the 22nd position, and it looks like maybe change for position here. 3 wide. Jacob Shorba goes through the middle. He is able to move up to the 18th position. Alex Pelican right there in 20th behind him. But Justin Carey in a precarious position now jumps to the high line. Way up by the wall there. You can see his car wiggle on turn entry. He's actually just going to drop back here, let the 27 take it, as Daniel Hallis continues to lead, but Ryan Strunk there is lurking just a car length back, waiting for the 53 to make some kind of a mistake, or for his opportunity to slip past Spencer Tart right there. Oh, I thought I saw a car slipping around, but Brandon Andrews loses a couple spots in that corner. And the 36 of Curtis Valenzuela, who needs he needs a run here. He needs a win almost, as he comes in the 10th position in points. Currently 13 back. He really just needs as many points as possible, and he needs to hope for issues for his competitors. John Jones slipping up into the wall there. It's going to collect Dakota Jorgensen, but they keep it going here, just slowed them both down, and they both have right side damage. 15 now dropping all the way back to 18th position. Jorgensen back to 20th when they were just outside the top 10. And Daniel Hallis continuing to lead. Spencer Tart has taken over second. Ryan Strunk now shuffled back to 4th, but here he comes down to the inside of Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Gonna try and make that pass to get back into the 3rd position. 42 of Brandon Andrews looking for a way around Starling. And those two worked pretty well together last week at Talladega, but Nicholas Starling had some issues in the late stages of that race and didn't get the finish that he probably deserved. But Brandon Andrews right here just in the 10th position, and has all but secured his playoff berth. He now goes to the inside of Starling, a little wiggle out of turn 4. That's going to actually open up the door for James Love on the outside. That 66 machine trying to find his way into the top 10. And don't forget about Alex Link. That 51 car has been so good here in this series for the past handful of weeks, and now he is just outside the top 10 as well. And he's going to clear himself in front of Frank Weinset, the 31 machine. So keep an eye on that 51. He may have a shot at this thing if we have some nice green flag runs. But the 53 of Daniel Hallis now under fire. Spencer Tart going to that high line, going to try and get some momentum here. But Hallis so good down on that low line, basically foot to the floor. And this is what it looks like for Spencer Tart as he now jumps back up high. The 53 just pulls him there in the center. Tart drifting up the track a little bit. But you can see him get the momentum here on the back straightaway. A big run now up to the back bumper. He'll jump to the high line again here in 3 and 4. As those top two have just pulled away. Chad Genningsman now battling it up with Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Those cars both very fast here and also on much older tires. So they've done a great job hanging on to the track position. The 22 trying to get back towards the front where he has led a few laps. And back a little ways. We've got a big battle going on here. Alex Link going up the middle. He's going to try and make it work. James Love down low. The 34 of Alan Hunt up high. The 51 clears himself in front of Justin Carey. But you can see these guys trying to move up to that high line, which seems to be the way around here. If you're back in the pack, the low line is not helping. But Alex Link's trying to make it work here. He sees his teammate up in front. Daniel Hallis trying to pull away, and he is now stretching away from Spencer Tart. Up to about a half-second lead. That 53 car, just once it's in clean air, almost unbeatable. And Christopher White now trying to move inside the top 5, fighting with Curtis Valenzuela. Both of these drivers on the outside looking in and need all the points they can get. So I expect this battle to be hot and heavy. Ryan Strunk in the same boat, but he is a lot closer to the cut line than the other two. And we will be finishing up the stage here in about 15 laps. So Daniel Hallis looking like the dominant race car here in these opening stages. But anything can happen here. Curtis Valenzuela now losing the spot to Christopher White. Here comes Brandon Andrews trying to get the nose in there. And he will peek down low, peek back in line. And now he goes to the inside, going to try and get the momentum down there. Not going to work for him as the 36 able to drive right around him. But Ryan Strunk, who started up towards the front here on this restart, he has dropped back now to the 8th position, but still in contention to earn some stage points. And I would keep an eye on that 77. He needs to get a finish here, so he may be laying back just a little bit, seeing all that shuffling and hard racing that was going on. Now the 3rd place battle changing hands. Genningsman up to 2nd. And Taylor Butcher Benjamin, not sure what happened. Spencer Tart lost a lot of ground there, though. He was up there just about a half-second behind Daniel Hallis, but Chad Genningsman now up to the 2nd position. That 22 car, very good here. And Chad is one of those long-run experts that we've seen week in and week out, so. This battle is hot and heavy, 42 and 36, as Brandon Andrews gives the bumper to Valenzuela down the front straightaway. He's going to go to the outside now. 36 will slam the door on him, and Brandon Andrews right up by that outside wall. He's going to get alongside now, and good run out of the corner. You can see how much he closes in even on Christopher White. And the 42 running the Larson line up there and making it work in stage number 2 as he is all the way around Valenzuela now and sets his sights forward on Christopher White. And inside the top 10 now is Jacob Shorba. He has found his way forward And not a surprise from the two-time winner here this season is, oh, Nicholas Starling, a big wiggle out of the corner, and Eric Wineland charging back up through the field, now up to the 12th position. I'd expect to see him get right up to the back bumper of Jacob Shore, but before the stage is all done here. It is quite a distance, but he's trying to make his way around Nicholas Starling. They are still battling it out side by side. But the 12 car, obviously very quick here. He was your pole sitter. And either a speeding penalty or just trying to get damage fixed there sent him a little ways back. And he needs all the points he can get, as he is the last driver above the cut line. But Daniel Hallis waiting for the stage to come to a close here. He's got about 8.5 laps to go here, and Chad Ginningsman is definitely closing the gap, now down to a half second. That 22 car is so good on these long runs, and he's actually got older tires and still chasing down Hallis. It's the 53 starting to wash a bit wide on the exit of the corner there. Here comes Ginningsman. A car length again down the front straightaway. He's going to send it into that outside lane. The 53, big wiggle going into the corner. He's going to slow up quite a bit. Here comes Ginningsman. A big charge down the back straightaway. The gap now 2 car lengths, 1 car length. He is there now. Ginningsman, last week's winner, so strong here tonight. And he goes to the point. Daniel Hallis way up the track. Ginningsman going to take the lead away. But Hallis fighting back on that outside line, trying to get there and get the nose to the outside. Ginningsman going to slam the door and put the 22 back to the point. Daniel Hallis back to second. Spencer Tart in third here. Taylor Butcher Benjamin in fourth. Christopher White in fifth. So Christopher White, your highest playoff driver at the moment. Brandon Andrews right here behind him. Curtis Valenzuela. Jacob Shorba up to 8th. Ryan Strunk back to 9th. And Eric Wineland here in 11th. So a lot of these guys either at or below the cut line are up here contending for stage points. And this driver here, Eric Wineland, definitely the one to keep an eye on. He needs to gain a few more spots here. He needs to really pass Ryan Strunk, who's right there in front of him. And it's a 77 right there. And Strunk actually got a point over Wineland in that first stage, but with just a few laps to go here, Wineland really needs to get back in front and even out the score, or perhaps gain another point on Strunk. He came in 2 points just above the 77 in the playoffs, and they're right here racing it out at the tail end of the top 10. Wineland going to the inside now. Strunk really struggling here on this long run, and he is going to potentially lose the position here as Wineland way down the racetrack, right up next to that apron. Oh, a little sideways out of the corner, but he does a good job there. Strunk trying to get back to the outside. He's there trying to get the side draft working, and this 12 not able to clear him, so they're still side by side going into the corner. Strunk really struggling here. You see him slide up the racetrack. I think he actually hit the wall. So give the position to Wineland, and he's going to set his sights on Barry Stevens. But Taylor Butcher Benjamin now racing it up with Christopher White, and White really needs a solid stage here as he comes in the 11th car in the playoffs, and 16 points behind him, or behind the cutoff, but caution out on the racetrack. Looks like the 37, Chris Hansen, 31 of Frank Weinset, and also the 15 of John Jones, I believe, caught up in this. Yeah, just down the back straightaway, it looks like the 37 gets turned around by John Jones, and not sure what was going on here. Maybe some history. Oh, actually, somebody was spinning up in front of them. That was the 31 machine of Weinset. And let's see what happened to Frank here. Just comes up the track a little bit too much, tags the wall, bounces off it a second time, trying to stay off of Jorgensen. He spins it around, and then John Jones unable to avoid the checking up of the 37, and he's actually going to slide into the 31. So that 15 car that was very strong in the early goings with heavy damage now. And the top two going to stay out here under the caution. Daniel House, Justin Carey, but Chad Ginningsman brings the rest of the field down pit road. And we'll see what happens here. I think they may just call it the stage at that point. I'm not sure what the call is from the race control. But Daniel Hallis in front. He's led 43 of the 66 laps, so definitely the dominant car, but I believe he wins stage 2. And Hallis not in the playoffs, so he's denying those drivers playoff points as well as stage points. And Austin, I doubt it. Pretty hard to have hacks this day and age, but Daniel has been very strong here in this series for the last few weeks, and he's going to stay out again. And I don't know what the word is from race control, but we at least know that Daniel Hallis has won both stages. Chad Ginningsman, I believe, well, actually, Ginningsman was out in front, so I don't know if Ginningsman actually won the stage. But Hallis very quick here tonight, and pace car lights are off, so we're going to be going green next time by. But let's hear a quick word from Rapid Fire Pizza before we get the green flag. We are rolling out of turn 4 now. Pace car waiting to make that left-hand turn, and it will. And Daniel Hallis on 31 lap old tires. The rest of the field on fresh rubber. They get going, but Hallis at the line. And he's going to take it down to the apron here. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, if it's just a mistake, but Daniel Hallis going to take it to the back here. Still down behind the field, but at the front, Spencer Tart here racing it up. He's going to take over the lead. And Taylor Butcher Benjamin now to the bottom, going to take over the lead. So I don't know who's got the advantage at this point. Chad Ginningsman, I think, has the fastest car on the long run, but with Daniel Hallis out of the way, you know, I don't know what these other guys can do here. If they get in clean air, anything is possible. And Brandon Andrews back up in the mix with these guys. He's going to try and go for that second position. Christopher White up high. Oh, and we got a car down low. Not sure who that was. Definitely dangerous. Frank Weinset was just in front of those guys. I didn't know who it was. But anyways, Taylor Butcher Benjamin up in front here. Spencer Tart right on his back bumper. And here comes Chad Ginningsman now, going to put that 22 up to the high line in front of Brandon Andrews. He's going to try and make a move here down in 3 and 4, but doesn't have the run. And Andrews going to jump down to the inside. 22 not going to throw the block. And he's going to wait for a push from somebody, if anybody's going to help him out, but he's just riding up there, saving a little bit of tire. And rolling that high line, Taylor Butcher Benjamin now down on the low line, hanging on to the lead here. He keeps it planted by that apron. And the 8 of Spencer Tart giving a big shove down the back straightaway into turn number 3. And we've got a caution on the speedway. I am not sure what the call was there. Justin Carey possibly involved in this. Let me go take a look. And I think it might have been the 21, who's 2 laps off the pace. He think lost it coming up on the racetrack here. Yeah, sideways. I'm not sure if they just threw it because of that. But Justin Carey going around here, I think that may be it. Unless that is a stage break. I haven't heard from race control to confirm or deny. But we go under the yellow flag once again. And to recap, we've had 5 cautions here, 2 of them for stages. We've had 12 lead changes at the front of the field, so it's been a very competitive race. And right now, Taylor Butcher Benjamin, your leader. He's pulled some strategy here tonight and has kept himself up in the top 5, top 10 as he now stays out once again. And it's going to be a split decision by this field. Quite a few drivers making it down pit lane here. Alex Link included. 32 of Christopher White. Chad Gettingsman also down pit road. Looks like Spencer Tart, the first of the drivers to commit. And it looks like we'll have 5 or 6 that stay out. Let's see if we can get a word in with Eric Wineland here, the 12 machine. We were going to talk to him earlier, but didn't get a chance to. Eric Wineland, this is Adam in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Eric, we started up on the pole here tonight, and we saw you drop all the way back outside the top 25. Can you tell us what happened there?
Yeah, stage 1, entering turn 3 pretty high. Amongst all the chaos, I clipped the wall, so I just decided to get some damage repair at the end of stage 1. Figured the damage repair would be more beneficial than just keeping it up front. And stage 2 proved my theory there wrong, as I had to really claw myself up.
Yeah, and it was fun to watch you battle up through there, and you've got one of the fastest race cars out here along with your teammate, the 22. Did you guys work really hard on the setup this week to get it ready to run around the high line here?
Believe it or not, Chad and I worked independently. Chad's a substitute driver filling in for the rest of the season, because the driver that was in the 22 unfortunately can't be here for the rest of the season. But yeah, we worked independently. He's been battling. I think his splitter was on the ground, he said, at the start of the run, so he's been battling that. For me, it's just getting that touch bit loose on the long run, but it's really hooked up when we can get on the high line. It's just, I can see it out here, and you can see it as the race progresses. I'm set up for the long run, and most of the guys around me that are passing me on the short run are very trimmed out for short run speed, and it was especially egregious in the 15 setup, as you could see. So, been interesting.
Yeah, and it's there's been a few competitors out there that definitely show speed, like the 53 of Daniel Hallis, who he finds himself outside the top 15. And just how hard is it to make passes here tonight, you know, with this lower horsepower, higher downforce package?
Well, I've been joking about it with my iRacing team a little bit this week. Just when you get a cool track like this here at Kansas and this high downforce package, everyone becomes a hero. So you get a lot of super speedway style racing up here. It's definitely, I would say it's definitely entertaining for fans, but it is beyond stressful as a driver. That stage 1 battle I had with Daniel where we were racing really tight, I was not expecting to be raced so tight early on, but that's on me for not being prepared for that. And yeah, it's been pretty stressful up here, and it's really hard to make that pass, but if you can build a run or even carry the momentum on the top whenever the tires start to wear, it becomes a little more fun and a little easier.
Yeah, and it's definitely exciting to watch, but I know as a driver it is very stressful. And I was saying it, you know, it looks like you guys are on the last lap battling for the win, but it was only like lap 17. So, you know, it looks like you guys are about to go green once again. So, or actually, pace car lights are back on.
Yeah, they delayed it. We've been having an issue with the cautions are being pretty short. So if you saw some guys coming around there was guys getting some laps back. They got unfair penalties. They were lap cars that didn't get the chance to pit on the last caution. I think it was a stage 2 caution. And the race control is getting that rectified, which is good on them.
Yeah, great. Thanks for clearing that up for us. We were kind of confused as to whether or not the stage was over or not, because the caution came out a few laps before, and then you went green on the lap that the stage was supposed to end. But you know, you find yourself back up in the top 5 here, and you know, about to get some clean air potentially. How much of a difference does that make being out in front versus in the pack?
Well, like I was saying earlier, with guys that are trimmed out,
Yeah.
I'm sure that makes all the difference. With my car being set up for a little bit of longer run, especially being in the pack, uh, it's definitely a little more of a hindrance to be out there because the guys behind you can just build up that run in the draft. So it's nonetheless, everyone wants clean air. Sometimes it's a grace. Sometimes it can kill you if you get it just the wrong way.
Yep. Well, now you guys are about to go green once again. Thanks for chatting with us real quick here, and good luck with the rest of the race.
I appreciate it, Adam. Have a good one up there.
Thanks. That was Eric Wineland in the number 12 machine. Going to put him back down there with his teammates at Penske. Let's get him down there. And he was your pole sitter here tonight. A lot of good insights there. His car trimmed, you know, a little bit differently than some of these other cars, so he's better in terms of downforce, but that slows you down when you get to the front. But some of these guys are pretty quick here when they get out there. It looks like Daniel Hallis in that same scenario, or a different scenario. Pace car lights are back on again, so I guess we're not going this time. And we want to thank Champ Drives Cars for the follow there while we were doing that quick interview. Appreciate you tuning in here and supporting VSPEED. And this is the iRacing Fantasy Cup Series if you're just tuning in. It's been a pretty solid race here tonight. These guys are facing a cutoff here in the playoffs, so a few drivers at the cut line that are doing pretty well here. Eric Wineland being right at the cut line. He is the bubble driver, so he's having a solid run, but Ryan Strunk is right here in front of him, and Strunk has outscored him in terms of stage points, I believe, or it's very close either way. So they're, you know, right around where they were coming into the race, and I think it's basically going to be Strunk has to finish 2 or 3 positions ahead of Eric Wineland to advance, and that's if no one else wins that's outside the cutoff. So it is a lot of pressure on these guys here to perform tonight, and a few of them have had issues. Chris Etcheper with some damage on the nose of his race car, that 41 machine, and then also Brandon Andrews with damage. But Brandon, very secure here. He's had great runs in these first 2 stages, and looking for a solid finish to this one. Taylor Butcher Benjamin gets him going. Green flag back in the air at Kansas. We are past halfway, so what we like to do at that point is ask you to cheer on your favorite driver once again and who you think is going to win tonight's race. That way we can follow along with your selection here. And right now, Taylor Butcher Benjamin out in front by a few car lengths, but the field trying to get cycled out here. And Eric Wineland now moving forward a little bit. He's up to the 4th spot. Spencer Tart drops in behind. Alex Link also going to come on through. Nicholas Starling struggling up on that high line. And Chad Ginnigsman trying to find a way through. And we are 4 or 5 wide. Oh, they bounce off each other, and that's not going to work. The 22 of Ginnigsman hard in the wall. The 3 of Alex Pelican. And that is bad news for the 3. He has not scored really any stage points. And that car is just destroyed. I believe Jacob Shorba also caught up in this. Possibly a few others. Shorba actually able to get through. Let's see what happened to all these guys here. So we are looking on with the 3 machine of Alex Pelican. As they were coming across the start-finish line, it got fanned out about 5 wide, and there's just not enough room, and the 20 bounced off the wall, hit the 22, sends the 3 up into him. The 53 of Hallis involved the 36 of Valenzuela. I think was able to get through this. He gets heavy damage. Also the 34, the 96, the 48. Pizzakemi, I think, was right behind all this. I don't know if he avoided it. So this is what it looked like, though. The 20 bouncing off the wall down into the rest of those guys, and just a lot of cars up into that high outside wall. Alex Pelican really, I think, taking the majority of the impact here. 20 went really wide, just didn't anticipate the wall being so close, I guess, and that sends a lot of drivers around. Valenzuela heavily involved. And who was that? The 96 up there on the outside. Jordan Brockle, great job navigating through that. He had to come to a stop there and actually a little tap on the end. But this is probably pretty good wreck avoidance here. Let's see what Jordan did here to get through this, and then we'll watch the 52 on board as well. So Jordan bouncing off that wall, actually able to avoid all that. And at the end of this, he had to come to basically a stop. Just a little tap on the 9, but not going to be any serious damage. Let's look with the 52, who was well behind all of this. And he locks it down and able to just drive away from all of these wrecked race cars. The 22 of Chad Genningsman not going to get a back-to-back win here tonight, and he was looking strong. But he is parked on the pit lane, and all but your top 7 electing to take it down pit road. Eric Wineland going to win the battle off pit road. We didn't get anybody cheering in chat, so I'm just assuming you guys don't have any favorite drivers out here. But that's not a way to watch a race. So I think we'll just go with our top contenders at this point, or those right around the cut line. So Ryan Strunk, Eric Wineland, I think really the points battle to watch, and they've been neck and neck all race. And we'll bring up that points battle one more time after we take a quick commercial break, and we get the green flag. We are back. Pace car lights are off in the field, double file. It doesn't look like we've been delayed just yet, so looks like we'll be going green. We want to welcome Blazer Pete to the chat there. Appreciate you tuning in. If you're enjoying tonight's race, consider getting your own iRacing Fantasy Cup Series merch over at the VSPEED shop. We also just put up some of our own merchandise, a brand new V hat and an inverted color scheme VSPEED hat, which we're pretty proud of both of those. Check out the iRacing Fantasy Cup Series merch, though. You can save $5 on a purchase of $10 or more using the code up there on your screen. The green flag back in the air. Taylor, Butcher, Benjamin gets him going. Ryan Strunk trying to work that high line. Good restart by him as he's alongside Spencer Tart. But Tart going to slip into second. Strunk now to third, and right behind him is cut line partner Eric Wineland, and they are now battling it out for top 5 positions, and I think some of these guys are going to be contenders for the win. Daniel Hallis, let's see where he's at. That 53 car with damage now. Definitely was one of the cars to beat in the early going of this race. Also the 22 of Genningsman, but he is out of this event and not going to get back to back here, but Hallis right on the back bumper of Justin Carey, and he's looking for a solid run here in stage 3. But at the front, Spencer Tart takes the lead. Here comes Ryan Strunk trying to get out front. Not going to do it on this end of the racetrack. See if he makes any kind of a move here. He goes to the inside line of the 8, down on the apron now, across the start-finish line. Give that lap to Spencer Tart. Ryan Strunk. Actually, I think Strunk may have led that lap. No, he did not. So Tart did lead it 66 thousandths of a second. The difference between those two race cars. But Ryan Strunk with the nose out front. He has no help at the moment. The 8 with a big push from Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Chris Etcheper up in the mix, so he is in the playoffs as well. Needs those points. Little safer than some of these other drivers, but now he's going to be taking 3 wide. Brandon Andrews down low, almost 4 wide with Alex Link. But they settled it out back to 2 wide. And Etcheper riding kind of the middle groove here, looking to get in between the 8 and the 77, and he will. But the 8, a big run from the 11. And now we're 3 wide. The 41 gets into Taylor Butcher Benjamin, the 11 car trying to hang on to it, and he will. The 66 of James Love has to check up. The 48 checks up down low. And they make a little bit of contact, everybody figuring things out. Taylor Butcher Benjamin goes from 2nd to 8th, but they don't have a wreck, so that's all that matters. Spencer Tart able to stay out in front, and Strunk right there in 2nd. Chasing him down, right on the back bumper now, gonna dive to the inside going into turn 3. And not too far up in front of them is the 43 machine of Nicholas Starling, who's a lap down. And pretty heavy damage on the right side of that race car. But he is still a few seconds out in front. Ryan Strunk now going to take the lead away from Spencer Tart. Can he clear him here out of turn 2? The 8 car battling with the 41 of Etcheper. And the 51 of Alex Link closing in. We told you to keep an eye on that driver, and he has arrived. His teammate not too far behind, though, battling it up with Brandon Andrews. And the 53 cuts it down low here. Going to slot in behind the 42. Oh, contact. Etcheper hangs on to it. But he's going to lose all kinds of momentum. Let's see what happened. He was right behind the 77. Oh, and just gets caught on the transition. Same thing happened to Mark Brannigan a bit earlier, but move Etcheper back to 7th now as he's trying to block off James Love and Jacob Shorba. And he will slow down the 66. At the front, Spencer Tart has reclaimed that lead. The 77 is in contention here. The 51 of Link not too far off either on that outside line. And Strunk really dives it in there. You see him wash up the track. That's going to cost him some speed on the exit. He gets very wide there, able to hang on to it. But he might lose the spot to Alex Link. Here comes Brandon Andrews down to the inside of Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Jacob Shorba right there on the outside, trying to give the 11 a push down the straightaway. Spencer Tart doing his best Dale Jr. impression as Ryan Strunk really losing a lot of speed out of turn 2. I think the 8 threw a block there and Strunk had to back off, but the 8 pulling away a little bit. Alex Link now trying to reel him back in. The 8 washing up the track. Here comes Link down low. Those Rick Ware Racing machines, the 51 and 53, just so quick. Here comes Daniel Hallis recovering from being way deep in the pack and also getting damaged. He's already up to 3rd. And probably your fastest race car on track. Besides his teammate out there, but he's reeled them both in. This battle for the lead going to become a 3-way battle. As Daniel House, big charge into turn 3. He's going to go to the outside now, going to try and get the draft off the 8. And he's going to ditch his teammate down on that low line. But almost going 3 wide. Now the 51 able to clear the 53. But Daniel House really diving it in there. The teammates battling side by side for the 2nd spot. And right behind them, Ryan Strunk, Jacob Shorba. Eric Wineland trying to get back up in the mix. He's into 7th with a pass here on Brandon Andrews. And things are getting pretty crazy out on track right now. And no telling what's going to happen here in these closing laps. Everybody trying to fight for position, and they're going to have to make a pit stop, I believe. So when do they make that if we even go green the whole way? Alex Link has been able to hang on to second and set his sights forward, but here comes Hallis, a huge run in 3 and 4. The 51 a little sideways, that's going to cost him that spot, and the 8 also losing speed. Here comes Hallis now, big run down the front straightaway, 2 car lengths the difference, and Jacob Shorba also in the mix. He's up to 4th, running that high line right up by the wall. He's gotten around Ryan Strunk, and the top 3 have just backed up to him. Here comes Wineland, also a massive run down the back straightaway. He's right on the back bumper of his sparring partner, the number 77 of Strunk. Those two so close in the standings, right at the cut line, and Strunk needs to hang on to as many spots as he can and earn as many points as he can here. Spencer Tart out in front, the 8 machine, looking quick here, but he's got some fast race cars closing in. Daniel Hallis now taking over second. The 95 of Jacob Shorba going for the 3rd position. But they stay where they are for the moment. Ryan Strunk has lost his spot to Eric Wineland, now battling it up with Brandon Andrews. So the 77 not so good on the long run like we saw in those first 2 stages. And Andrews losing some speed down low. He's going to drop in behind Christopher White. Bow in front, Spencer Tart able to hang on to this. The battle for second is on as Jacob Shorba has come seemingly out of nowhere, and he is now within reach of the leader. This is the view out front of the 95 iRacing iFlag Toyota Camry. Just full throttle around this place. Doesn't sound like he's lifting, not even blipping the throttle at all. So definitely a good handling race car as we are about 20 laps into the run here. And Shorba, maybe a little lift right there, but not too much. So he has got this thing dialed in here tonight as he gets a huge run on Spencer Tart down the back straightaway. Jacob Shorba going to go to the lead. Here comes Daniel Hallis. Spencer Tart with a problem out of turn 2. And he's going to drop straight to 3rd. Daniel Hallis, though, like that door being opened up by the 95, he followed right on through. Eric Wineland now up to the 4th spot. Going to try and take that over from Alex Link, who rides down low. Wineland right up by that outside wall. And those top 3 right up there in reach. Just half a second up the road is Spencer Tart. But they're now closing in on lap traffic. Jacob Shorba going to have to try and navigate this. The 96 machine of Tim Williams, the 36 of Valenzuela, and the 43 of Starling all in the tail end of the lead lap. And that is actually going to set Starling back 2 laps if he gets lapped here. The 43 car struggling after getting damaged early. He was still up in the mix, but definitely just a little bit off here in terms of speed compared to our leaders. The 95 of Shorba up high has Hallis right in his tire tracks. Eric Wineland was able to complete the pass, and he's trying to work around those lap cars and lead the second group up to the top 3. But how long will it take to get there? They have just over 30 laps to go. Shorba out in front, Spencer Tart dropping behind, and Eric Wineland now to 3rd. What happened to Daniel Hallis? What happened to him? The 53, another problem here. Oh, coming out of turn 4, we didn't even see it. He was right on the back bumper of the 95. Looks like maybe just a little loose. Back end definitely started stepping out. He tries to save it, goes down through the grass here. And that's a shortcut if I've ever seen one, but definitely slowed him down. And he goes all the way back to the 12th position, now back up to speed. And Hallis, definitely the dominant car here, but has had issues either of his own doing or just out of his control. Now back outside the top 10. But Spencer Tart using the draft from Nicholas Starling to stay here right around Shorba. And Christopher White now in the middle of these two playoff contenders. Actually, basically everybody you see in your picture right now is a playoff contender. That whole group led by Eric Wineland, Justin Carey, Christopher White, Brandon Andrews, Brian Pizzacchemi, and Ryan Strunk. All playoff drivers here from 4th to 9th. And right now, Christopher White down low. He's trying to get this spot away from Justin Carey. They go side by side down the back straightaway, but the 21 with a big push from the 48. And Wineland able to escape that battle. He's now lost his position, though, to Alex Link. The 51 machine starting to pull away and take the place that his teammate had. Both of those Rick Ware Racing machines very quick here tonight. Spencer Tart just about 3/10 back of your leader, Jacob Shorba. And Shorba is pacing this field right now, but not the fastest out there. Spencer Tart was about 1/10.5 quicker last lap. And the 8 car is finding a groove here, finding something to catch back up as he is pulling the draft off that 95 and has gotten around the 43. So keep an eye on this 8 machine. He is moving back up towards the lead. And it looks like an issue for Eric Wineland. He loses a bunch of spots now, back to 7th. Christopher White, Justin Carey going to slip on past. And he's under pressure from the 48 of Pizzacchemi and the 77 of Strunk. Meanwhile, the 53 back here still in 12th. Up in front of him is Chris Echeper, Brandon Andrews in this 10th position. He's closing in on this huge gaggle of cars. And it's going to be a battle from about 3rd to 10th, with Alex Link actually pulling away from Christopher White now. So 4th to 10th going to be in under a blanket here. And some exciting racing tonight. Taylor Butcher Benjamin. No, it looks like somebody's coming down pit road. That's Brandon Andrews. Oh, sorry about that, Darby. Jumping around too quickly here. There's a lot of action. I will try and slow it down for you guys. The one machine, Brandon Andrews, is going to bring it down pit road, though, and go back to the front of the pack here. Jacob Shorba out in the lead, out in front of Spencer Tart, who's giving him a challenge for that position. And I don't know if these guys are going to have to bring it down or not. Not sure why Brandon Andrews came in. He's been sitting up pit road now for about 30 seconds and probably got a speeding penalty of some sort. It's just, well, pit time actually lines up perfectly with that. And nobody else bringing it down this time. And just over 20 laps to go. And Eric Wineland is in the 9th position. He has lost quite a few positions here. Ryan Strunk up in front of him. The 12 looks like almost looked like he was going to come to pit road there, but he is a little bit off the pace. Not sure what's going on with Wineland. If he's trying to save some fuel to make it to the end. His lap time about a second slower than anybody else up there in front of him. Justin Carey and Ryan Strunk battling it out here. Just inside the top 10. Thank you, Darby, for the follow. Appreciate you tuning in and supporting VSPEED. But Carey losing that position. I think he is now trying to save fuel. Eric Wineland off the pace. Along with him, they are about a half second or more slower than your leader, Jacob Shorba. Spencer Tart down the racetrack. He actually took it down pit road, so he's not going to try and stretch it. And with just under 20 to go, When do your leaders come in, or who starts saving when? As we've already seen Eric Wineland and Justin Carey start to save some fuel. And Shorba out in front, he is not saving anything. He's pulled away. Now a 1.3, 1.5 second lead back to Alex Link, and not sure if the 51 is going to start saving as well. But Daniel Howe is starting to close in on Justin Carey, still a little ways back from him in the 8th and 9th positions. And Eric Wineland still about a half second to a second off of your leaders' times. Let's see if we can listen on board, see what Eric's doing here. He's really just cutting the track down to its shortest distance, running along that white line. And I think he is just managing his throttle a little. Not really fully lifting, but just not sending it as fast as he can into the corner. And Justin Carey right here behind him, also running a bit off the pace. So those two losing a considerable amount of time, but if they can make it to the end, it might mean the difference between winning and locking themselves in, or possibly being out of contention anyways. While the top, looks like about the top 4 running about 30.1s or 30.2s. Everybody else, or at least Eric Wineland and Justin Carey, running 31.3s and 5s. But Jacob Shorba continues to lead the field here. He is not going to bring it down pit road this time. And almost tagging the wall there out of turn 4. Brandon Andrews right there behind him, going to try and get back on the lead, or at least 1 lap down. As he lost a couple laps with that long pit stop. And Darby Newman is not on the track here tonight, but he might have held up the 95 a bit if he was out here. Let's look at the 10th place driver, Chris Etcheper, about 19 seconds back of your leader. He is also well off the pace. Justin Carey, very slow last lap. He ran a 33.4. That is about 3 seconds slower than your leader, and at that kind of pace, I don't think it's going to matter. He would barely hang on to this thing. But Jacob Shorba continues to race out there. He's hoping for something to happen. They all pitted on the same lap. Justin Carey now at 33 flat again. Eric Wineland to 31.7 up here in the 7th position. And he's shutting the engine off now. Fires it back up to get out of the corner, but he definitely shut the engine off. So we have some strategies. Ryan Strunk bringing it down pit road. I believe Jordan Brockle also, no, he is not on pit road. Eric Wineland, though, you can hear him just shut the engine off completely or clutch it in. He gains a position now, but Strunk just making it into his box. I think this may be the winning strategy if they can pull it off. Jacob Shorba running a 30.3, Eric Wineland to 32.6. Daniel Hallis now closing in a 31.8 on the 53. And I would not be surprised to see if Hallis has saved enough already. I think he maybe was doing that earlier when he went across the grass, but he could have gained a little bit more time afterwards, and I think he's just been pacing himself. And now going to pull a draft off of Dakota Jorgensen and that 9 machine. Meanwhile, Eric Wineland still running a 33.2 along with Justin Carey. You can see Wineland right here. They're closing in, or at least Daniel Hallis is closing in. And they are 20 plus seconds behind your leader, Jacob Shorba. And I don't think Shorba is going to be able to make it. He's trying to pull a draft off of Brandon Andrews and set the pace that way. But Shorba's still running about 2 or 3 seconds a lap faster, and he's trying to get as many cars a lap down as he can. We're down to 11 on the lead lap. Mark Brannigan being the last one. He's only a couple seconds up in front, though, the 52 right here. You can see your leader in the distance. And not too far in front of him, Eric Wineland coming out of turn 2. And Daniel Hallis has gotten past. Hallis running a 32.1, Wineland a 33.7 to our leader's 30.2. But the 12 really off the pace, running that short route around this racetrack and under 10 to go. The question is, can Jacob Shorba make it? And Taylor Butcher Benjamin bringing it down pit road now. So he will abandon his spot in the top 5 and commit to a pit stop. Well, Jacob Shorba has all this lap traffic to work through. He's going to lap Justin Carey, put that 9th place driver 1 lap down. Chris Etcheper in 8th, going to go a lap down. So only 7 cars on the lead lap. Eric Wineland just up in front, about 2 seconds in front of your leader here. And he's going to try and stretch it to the end. Who's going to win this thing tonight, folks? What strategy is going to work? Is it going to be Daniel Hallis? Did he save early? Is it John Jones who's made a recovery? Who knows? It could be anybody. But your leader right now, Jacob Shorba, running the fastest lap times of anyone by a pretty good margin, so nobody in striking distance, and if he can make it to the end, he will win this. But he's going to put Eric Wineland a lap down, and that 12 machine just trying to stretch it on fuel now, under 6 to go. I couldn't tell you. I don't know what their fuel status is. I thought that they would have been able to make it. Brian Pizzakemi, Christopher White now on pit road. So 32 hits his marks in his box here. The 9 machine of Dakota Jorgensen going to roll on past. Got to keep an eye on our leaders. He just takes some fuel there in the 32. Going to stretch it to the end. But Shorba out in front, only 4 cars on the lead lap. Daniel Hallis being the last of them. And Hallis, he stopped 1 lap after Eric Wineland. Here comes Shorba, I think. Yeah, the 95 coming to pit road, put the 12 back on the lead lap. Oh, the 95 sideways coming to pit road, hangs on to it. Alex Link, your 2nd place driver, he is well off the pace. And the question is, does Shorba, 51 way up the track there. He is struggling with that race car, but 5 to go. And Jacob Shorba still scored your leader. Here comes the 51, just inching this thing around the racetrack. He is going to take the lead. Jacob Shorba just getting out of his pit box now. John Jones, Daniel Hallis, Eric Wineland all closing in. Here comes Wineland. And the thing is, Jacob Shorba is going to be able to run as fast of a lap as he wants. He got so far out in front. There goes Wineland right around. Shorba gets passed by Carey. And Chris Etcheper also coming around. Etcheper pitted. He did not pit on this segment. But this is an interesting call here. Obviously, Shorba couldn't make it. He is now 14 seconds off your leader, Alex Link, but Link running a 35.6 last time by. That's so far off pace to Shorba's 30-second flats. Link just coasting down the back straightaway. John Jones still a long ways back, running a 32.4 last time. And the 15 just getting back in the throttle here in the corner, right next to Daniel Hallis. Hallis going to try and take the 2nd away. And I don't know. We just got 3 to go, now 2 to go. And the difference from 1st to 2nd, under 4 seconds. Daniel Hallis running a little bit faster. Is he going to be able to get there? Is Alex Link going to hang on? Shorba 7.5 seconds back, but he's running about 4 seconds a lap faster. Here he comes, just flying down the back straightaway. He'll pass John Jones. Eric Wineland is next subject. And Wineland now back up to speed at 31.2, along with Justin Carey right there. They're going to have to push it to the end. Daniel Hallis off the pace. White flag in the air. Alex Link, your leader. But can he make it back around? He is so far off pace, but does he have enough? He just needs to get to the line. Now into turn 3, Justin Carey a little ways back, bringing Eric Wineland and Jacob Shorba. Link here, coming out of turn number 4, Alex Link. Enough fuel to the end. He's going to win it. Give the victory to Alex Link. And that is fuel management at its very best. We told you to watch out for that 51, and he pulls it off here. Congratulations to Alex Link, your winner here at Kansas. What a finish. Congratulations to the driver of that 51 machine, Eric Wineland, now coming back to finish second. Justin Carey finishing in the 3rd position. They must have swapped positions right there at the line. Less than a 10th separating those two. So, but anyways, your winner, Alex Link, he backs it into the wall there during his victory celebration. But congratulations to Alex Link. The victory here tonight at Kansas, the fuel mileage run. He goes 52 laps along with Eric Wineland and Justin Carey, and they come away your top 3 here. So congratulations. We'll be right back with our post-race interviews after this quick commercial break. All right, and we are back. We're going to be bringing up our race winner here tonight. Alex Link, this is Adam in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Sorry to interrupt you there in the middle
No,
of
you're
that.
good.
But how nerve-wracking was that finish? You just barely made it to the finish there, but how'd you do it?
Well, I was I was gonna be 6 laps short at one point, and I'm like, okay, I should probably stop pushing it. And I had friends, watching their stream, and they saw you were on board and showed Wineland saving. So I was like, okay, maybe I can save and make it. So I'm shutting off my engine, putting in my clutch on the turns, probably running 40-second laps, just trying to save to the end. And with 2 to go, I asked my crew chief, Ab, how I was, and he's like, you just have enough at the end. And then when I saw the white flag, he's like, you have enough. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna send it, and was able to save enough and also do a burnout at the end. So
Yeah, there you go. Enough for the burnout. And yeah, we saw you running 35-second laps at one point. And were you worried that Jacob, after making just a splash and go there, was going to be able to get back up to you with a few laps remaining?
yeah, I saw through the relative that he was making up like 7, whatever, how many seconds a lap. So I was like, okay, we're gonna stop. We're gonna still save, but not save as much and keep the distance.
Yeah, and it was definitely intense at the end, and we have been telling people all race to watch, watch the 51 car. You were kind of you were outside the top 10 for a little while, and then you started creeping your way forward, and you've had some great runs here. How does it feel to finally get the monkey off your back and get a victory?
Oh, it feels great. Yeah, I was running back because I was like, okay, there's no point of pushing it, getting myself into a situation I wouldn't like, possibly wrecking out. So once I saw that it was last stage, I could start pushing it. So I was like, all right, we're gonna start making some moves and push my way into the top 10, top 5, and hopefully bring out a top 3. And I got the win.
Yeah, and you do come away with the victory. Your teammate up there, the 53 machine of Daniel Hallis, he was definitely one of the cars to beat. Did you guys work pretty hard together this week on the setup to have some speed out here?
Yeah, we've been talking off and on, giving each other tips on building a setup, and I guess these tips with each other helped us out because both had great runs.
Yeah, Daniel had a little bit of trouble, but still came away with the top 10. So good day here for the Rick Ware Racing Machines. But we go to Martinsville next week, and how much confidence does a win here tonight give you going into that track?
Oh, I know Martinsville is going to be hectic, but this win gives me all the confidence and shows that I can just the right strategy. I can hang with all these playoff drivers and great drivers in this league, and hopefully maybe back-to-back wins.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how you do out there. That race not going to be broadcast, but it'll be interesting to see where everybody kind of shuffles out during that event. But anyways, congratulations on the victory here. You come all the way from the 21st starting position. You lead just the last 4 laps and take home the victory. So anybody you want to give a quick shout out to before we let you go celebrate?
Yeah, give a shout out to my family for supporting me. Alpha Ornamentals, Rapid Fire, and Shore's Raisin Paint, and Jeremy Boucher for helping me save enough fuel to get to the end. Really, really helped me to, get that victory I needed.
Yeah, 10-4 on that. Well, congratulations one more time, Alex. Great run and just the right strategy. You pull this thing off tonight. Go celebrate, and we'll
Thank
see you
you.
next week at Martinsville.
Yep, take it easy.
All right, that's your winner here tonight, Alex Link. Let's pull up second place finisher, Eric Wineland, who is very quick here tonight. Eric Wineland, add him in the VSPEED booth. You get a copy.
Yes, sir.
Well, Eric, it definitely took some patience there at the end. You were putting down 33 or 34-second laps. At what point during that run did you realize, you weren't going to make it and you had to slow down like that?
Well, since the drop of the green flag for the run, I was keeping an eye on my timing and scoring and my fuel load and whatnot, just trying to see the consumption. And since I don't have a crew chief on the box tonight, I was kind of on my own, so I was trying to manage that and could kind of see from the get-go I was about like saying I needed a gallon to make sure I made it to the end. So I figured Kansas. I remember 2011 Brad Keselowski clutching it through the corners. I think I could save a gallon, so I went ahead and took the chance. Maybe about a third to midway through the run, and I was trying to communicate that back to my teammates as well. As you saw, the 21 of Justin was also saving, and that became a lot to try to manage because I was trying to help manage those guys, my teammates back there, and making sure I was managing to try to go out here and win this race. But man, Alex just did a perfect job out there. I mean, he got the info he needed right away. What my strategy was, and he adapted to it. And I mean, heck of a job on his part to adapt and win that thing like that.
Yeah, it was definitely a nail biter down to the end, and with Jacob Shorba putting you guys a lap down, did you think it was going to be a lost cause? Before he brought it in to eventually just take a splash and go.
I won't say I was thinking it was a lost cause. I definitely had that moment where I was like, oh man, I'm maybe we saved too much, or maybe we chose the wrong strategy. It might have been the slower strategy in the overall. But it's the playoffs. That's just the necessary evil risk you need to take, especially with someone like me, where I'm sitting right on top of the cut line, coming in. talking with Brian Pashemi in the 48, some quick math makes us think we're pretty good, pretty safe to make it. But my teammate Justin back there, well, affiliate teammate, with being basically practically locked in, he had nothing to lose, so why not play that strategy? But I took the risk. I thought I have confidence in myself to take this risk, and I can pull this off. And I'd like to say I did a pretty damn good job at it. Just Alex was the better one at saving fuel out there today.
Yeah, and I'd say it was a pretty successful strategy. And your closest competitor, Ryan Strunk, he actually ended up bringing it down pit road. He took a full-length pit stop there, which sent him all the way back to 16th. So by my quick calculations and what you've heard, I believe you will advance. You know, coming in on the cut line, obviously a lot of pressure, but you lived up to the hype here tonight. And we go to Martinsville next week to start the next round. So what are your thoughts on going out there?
Well, let's just make sure we get off on the right foot this time. We don't have the Justin Boyles of the world to make the round so terrible, because that's what lap 1 wrecked with him at Dover. Put me in behind the 8 ball pretty far in this round, and then Dega didn't exactly fall my way either, getting knocked out on lap 30, I think it was. But yeah, it's just making sure we go into Martinsville, getting off on the right foot. I definitely with a short track and with the way some of the racing is, I want to just be patient to start the round out. I haven't necessarily had all the time to accumulate playoff points like I wanted to, so I'm gonna have to work pretty hard. But being patient and making sure we step off on the right foot going into Martinsville, I feel good. I feel good that I just made it to the next round.
Yeah, 10-4 on that. It's definitely a relief, I'm sure. But do you see any tracks, you know, in this next round that, you know, you might find like a real big opportunity for you? We go to Martinsville, Texas, and Phoenix out there at ISM. You think any of those, you know, you favor over the others?
Well, let's see. Martinsville, we did have the package when we raced that in the spring. I think we might have as well at Texas. And believe it or not, I didn't join the service until January 31st this year, and I didn't start open racing until the Auto Club week. So it's been a learning process throughout the way. I want to give a big thanks to some of my iRacing teammates over at One Sim Motorsports. Those guys have helped me push myself to be a better driver, and I feel like I may not be the strongest coming up at Martinsville. Short tracks aren't exactly my specialty, but you know, I feel like I'd be very confident heading into Texas, and judging by how I did at ISM in the spring, I'd say I'm pretty confident going in there too. So if we can just have 3 solid races, just get through to Homestead, I think I get a real good shot. But it's all about Martinsville coming up. Got to get past that first hurdle.
Yeah, and it's a wild card going in there because, you know, you can get caught up in anything real early, just like at Talladega. So we'll see how you do. We're not broadcasting next week, but you know, I think you're going to be definitely somebody to contend with in the round of 8. So for tonight's second place run, you know, you started on the pole, led 7 laps, and we're up in contention for a good portion of this race. Anybody else you want to give a shout out to that made it possible?
Yeah, again, huge thanks to my teammates, iRacing teammates over at One Sim Motorsports. They, like I said, they helped push me. GTR simulators being on board with the team as well. My teammates here in the league, Justin Carey, the affiliate teammate, Jordan Brockwell, Chad for stepping in as he has each week in the 22, and it's just been a heck of a run. And I can't thank those guys enough. And on to Martinsville as the coach that I'm currently watching on TV would say, Mr. James Franklin. I'm a Penn State alumni, so having to watch the whiteout this entire game has been just as stressful as this race. So.
Yes, sir. Well, congratulations on the second place run. Good luck next week at Martinsville, and I guess we'll catch you next time at Texas.
I appreciate it, Adam. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was second place finisher Eric Wineland. Solid run from him today, but third place finisher Justin Carey. Another playoff driver. Justin Carey, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Pretty good, and seems like you're doing pretty well yourself. Nice solid third place run here tonight. Want to give us a rundown of that last little stint to the finish and saving fuel?
Yeah, pretty much. I was working with Eric. He said the strategy he was going to go with, and I fit. I think as of right now, I've got enough points to stay in. So I was like, I'm going to help him out any way I can, kind of help give him numbers, but he was more helping me out than anything. So once he said we had a certain amount, I said, I'm going to go for it. I'm like, I don't got to win. I'm going to try and do something, see if I can catch Alex and stay ahead of Jacob and stuff like that, and I just went for it.
Yeah, 10-4 on that. You came in, I believe, third in the playoff standings, in a very comfortable advantage. So definitely it was worth the shot at the end. And you were up in the mix for a lot of this race. It got a little bit of damage there in one of those incidents. But just how hard was it to pass out here tonight? You know, with it ended up being kind of like a one groove racetrack as the runs went on.
Yeah, early I kind of wanted to be up in the front, see where like Eric, Chad, and Jordan were all running, see we can run up there with the setups we had, and it worked pretty well. End of stage one worked great, but then yeah, just after that it went straight one lane racetrack, and I messed up coming out of pit road, caused another caution, which that was bad. I didn't think that was going to happen, but able to redeem and come out with something.
Yeah, and definitely shows the strength of you know, the setups that you guys had. Really, Chad Ginnigsman, I think, was one of the fastest out here. Jordan was running solidly, you know, mid-pack, and yourself and Eric up here in contention the whole race. So, you know, how much confidence does that give you, knowing that your team, you know, is able to build these setups week in and week out, and you know, give you guys an advantage over the competition?
It's great. It's great, especially working with these guys because different. We all can kind of work together and see where we might have flaws, and just with the 21 car alone, it was we just had a great 3 races, 3 top 10 finishes in a row, or 3 top 5 finishes in a row, I think it was. It was just a great working with everybody at Penske and everything like that. It was awesome.
Yeah, so that definitely shows the strength of that Wood Brothers machine. You were solidly up in the points there, and like you said, consistency is really key, especially in the playoffs here. So we head to Martinsville next week, and you know, what's the goal going out to that little short track there?
Exactly what you said, consistency. I don't have a win this season, and I haven't done one yet. This is actually my highest finish, so going into this next race, I'm going to play consistency. Play it safe. It's a short track. You're going to get bumps, bruises. The car's not going to look pretty at the end. So as long as you're there, you're there. I'm going to make sure I get through Martinsville and take it on to Texas, where I feel a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, and that's where our next broadcast is going to be. So, you know, we want to wish you good luck at Martinsville next week, and at that point, you know, we'd come back and see how you do at Texas. But for tonight's third place run, other than your Penske teammates or affiliates over there, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Sim Graphics, I know they gave me a beautiful paint scheme with this breast cancer awareness, iCanine, military style car. It was awesome. I've been able to run it these past 2 weeks, and then just everybody who sponsors this league, Jacob, Rapid Fire Pizza, everybody like that, they awesome. And then you for, of course, broadcasting everything. I'm wearing the merch right now. How to make sure we rep it while we're racing, and make sure we get a drink tonight, and hope you get to have one too.
Awesome, Justin. Well, appreciate you wearing our merchandise while you're racing here tonight, and you know, you put on a great show for us. Saving there with Eric and trying to hang on to your track position in the end was definitely a nail biter. So go celebrate, and I guess we'll talk to you next time at Texas.
Yeah, talk to you at Texas. You have a good off week.
All right, thank you, sir. That was your third place finisher, Justin Carey. A very happy man, his best finish of the season, but probably even happier, Alex Link finally capturing a win here. He has run very well the past couple months, and not a playoff contender, which probably makes it all the more sweet that he can capture one and steal it away from the playoff drivers. But let's go over our kind of a recap here tonight. We had 6 cautions, 2 of those being for stages, and they were kind of spread out, but we had a nice long run at the end of this race, just over 50 laps to come to the checkered flag. And ultimately, a few drivers tried to stretch it out, and it worked out for him. Alex Link comes out on top, after starting all the way back in 21st. He only leads 4 laps, but it was the last 4 that mattered. Eric Wineland started on the pole and came up just a little bit short in that saving strategy, but he beats out his Wood Brothers affiliate there, the 21 of Justin Carey, who comes home with a career best 3rd. Jacob Shorba, who pitted late to just get some fuel, he comes home in the 4th position, just in front of Spencer Tart, who finishes with a nice solid top 5 run. Christopher White, another playoff driver, comes home 6th, and I don't know if it's going to be enough for him to make it in, but definitely a great, solid performance. Taylor Butcher Benjamin comes home in the 7th position. Good run for him. Brian Pizzakemi, kind of out of nowhere, comes away with a top 10 finish, but Pizzakemi did pit in that last stint, and it paid off for him. Daniel Hallis, who stretched it to the end, he comes home in 9th, and Chris Etchpair, also stretching it, comes away with the top 10. So he earned some solid points here tonight, and we'll have to see who makes it in and who doesn't, and we may have those results here actually in just a moment. Have to see if they've got it all sorted out here from the race control. So we'll have to figure that out. But Mark Brannigan coming home in the 11th position. Brandon Andrews coming home in 12th, and he was all but guaranteed in. Nicholas Starling, he comes home in the 13th position. John Jones comes home 14th. 15th was Jordan Brockle, first car 1 lap down. Ryan Strunk coming home in 16th, also a lap down after pitting late in this race. He was not able to recover. James Love comes home 17th. Tim Williams comes home in the 18th position. 19th was Dakota Jorgensen, and 20th was Frank Weinset. In 21st, it was Curtis Valenzuela, and I think that is going to end his playoff run. 22nd, Chad Ginningsman. 23rd, Alex Pelican. So Alex, not the solid run or solid finish that we had hoped for from that 3 car, but we'll have to see where he kind of settles out in the playoff standings. Alan Hunt comes home 24th. Barry Stevens 25th. 26th was Chris Hansen, and 27th, the last starter on the field tonight, was Dusty Applin, coming home in that 27th position. But your winner here tonight, once again, Alex Link. We want to give a big congratulations to Alex here for winning the race at Kansas. Presented by Alpha Ornamental Metals. We solve your ornamental metal needs, including steel, aluminum, and iron. You can check those guys out over at facebook.com/Alpha Ornamental Metals. Link is in the chat there. So big shout out to those guys for sponsoring the iRacing Fantasy Cup Series. And we also want to let you know that you've been watching a presentation of VSPEED here on Twitch tonight. And we go live on Twitch multiple times throughout the week. And you can catch us here on Wednesdays through Saturdays. We will not be broadcasting next Friday or Saturday, as I am going to be in Martinsville myself at the racetrack. So you can actually see some updates from us over on Instagram or Twitter, as we're going to be at the racetrack and probably reporting some live stuff there, or just shooting video or photos. So stay tuned on those platforms. Also on Facebook, where we post race announcements before each and every broadcast, and you'll also see some of those same updates as what will be on Instagram and Twitter. You can also check us out on YouTube, where we post race replays. So if you missed last week's full-length Talladega event, we just put it over there on VSPEED Media, and we just merged with another channel to bring you the real-world racing content, as well as automotive enthusiast work. So auto repair, auto maintenance, things like that is going to be included on our channel over there. So we appreciate you tuning in. I want to thank Dunkin' Donuts Addict for the bits. Also want to thank Sam Fries for the follow just a few minutes ago. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. We will be back, I believe next Wednesday is our next broadcast with the Norse Force Valhalla Cup Series. So stay tuned over on Facebook and other platforms, where we're going to announce that race ahead of time. But until then, thanks for tuning in, and everybody have a good night.